Hi, grade 12s. Today we are going to be looking at the profits which a company make and what they do with those profits. So let's have a look. The portion of profit which a shareholder earns is known as a dividend, and it's a dividend on ordinary shares. Do you remember we got ordinary shares and preferential shares? And I told you that for school purposes, we'll only be dealing with ordinary shares. And so we are going to be looking at the dividends that are paid out to ordinary shareholders. So a dividend is just your portion of profit. If we go back and we look at a sole trader, the sole trader got all the profit his business made. In the case of a partnership, the profit was divided between the partners, and that was divided according to the partnership agreement as to what percentage each partner got. Now, in the case of a company, the shareholders will be receiving the dividends, and you will receive a dividend depending on the number of shares you own in that company. So the portion of profit that is paid to shareholders is known as a dividend. The board of directors have to authorize the payment, so that's quite important for you to know. The audit committee can't just make a nilly-willy decision, oh, well, we pay now so much. It has to be approved by the board of directors. And it also has to satisfy the solvency and liquidity requirements. Now, solvency and liquidity go back to grade 10 and 11 ratios or analysis of financial statements. So solvency simply means that we have more assets than we have liabilities. And liquidity is, do we have more current assets than current liabilities? Can we pay our current liabilities with our current assets? So solvency and liquidity are important because you can't be paying dividends if you do not comply with solvency and liquidity, because you could be paying out more profits than the company can actually afford to do so. Now, we have two types of dividends. We have what is known as an interim dividend, and an interim dividend is paid during the year. And so when interim dividends are declared, it's going to be quite a simple transaction. We're simply going to be paying ordinary share dividends. And so we are going to credit the bank, which will be A minus, and we will be debiting a new account called ordinary share dividends. This is a nominal account, so needless to say, it's going to reduce the owner's equity. Let's have a look and see what that looks like in the general ledger. And so we've got this ordinary share dividends account. We have credited the bank. So I haven't shown the CPJ, my apologies. And we are going to debit our ordinary share dividends account. So that's quite a simple transaction. Now we come to a final dividend. So final tells you it is probably going to be declared at the end of the year, and you'd be quite correct in your assumption of that. So at the AGM, the final dividends are declared. Again, AGM's popping up again. Do you remember? It stands for Annual General Meeting. And this final dividend is declared at the AGM, and obviously is only paid to shareholders in the new financial year. So again, I'm going to debit ordinary share dividends because that's what I'm dealing with. I said to you that ordinary share dividends is treated as an expense in the general ledger. And this time, we are not going to be crediting the bank as we did with an interim share, but we are creating a liability because we now owe shareholders their dividends. And so you will note that it's on the credit side, and this is a liability account. So when a final dividend is declared, we create a liability. Hence, I've got liabilities plus. So this is what it looks like in the general ledger. I've got my shareholders for dividends, and this is a liability account. Why do I have a liability? Because I owe my shareholders ordinary share dividends of 70,000 Rand. Again, if I look at my ordinary share dividends account, the white was the interim dividend, and now I've got the blue, which is my final dividend. And so hence you will see that there lies my double entry. Again, this is not recorded in any specific journal, and so a journal entry will have to be passed in the general journal. Again, revision, you know that a journal entry is simply a summary of what we've done in the general ledger. And so in this case, we have debited our ordinary share dividends, and we have created a liability known as shareholders for dividends, which we are again to credit. And so my narration would simply be bringing final dividend into account. It's the end of the year. So without being told, you know that your expense account has to be closed off to one of your three final accounts: trading, profit and loss, or appropriation. And so ordinary share dividends will be paid from appropriation. Again, needless to say, it's the end of the financial year, so you need to total your account, and you can now see that your ordinary share dividends account has closed down because it's been transferred to the appropriation account. As I said just now, when the final dividend is declared at the AGM, a liability is created in that dividends are owed to shareholders. This needs to be reflected in our financial statements, and we're going to be looking at two places where we need to record this final dividend. And so the first one will be in my trade and other payables note, or alternatively as a current liability. So very much the same as with income tax. If you're asked to show note number 9, trade and other payables, include your shareholders for dividends. If you're asked to show the current liability section of your balance sheet, include it there. And then the second part that we need to record is we need to record our final dividend in the retained income note. Because do remember that dividends are paid from retained income. And at this point, you may not know what retained income is, but it's in the next lesson. So we'll have a look at it then. So let's go back and look at what it would look like in my trade and other payable note. So here I have trade and other payable note. I've got my normal trade creditors, accrued expenses, deferred income, which is the standard first three items. And then I'm going to add shareholders for dividends. And it's as simple as that. Alternatively, I could go to the current liability section of my balance sheet, and I've got trade and other payables, and now I'm adding shareholders for dividends. Ordinary share dividends also have to be reflected in the retained income note, because the dividends, as I said just now, are paid from the net profit. So let's have a look and see what our retained income note to the balance sheet would look like. So standard format, balance at the beginning of the year, net profit for the year, buying back of shares at whatever Rand per share, And now we show the dividends that will be paid from the retained income. Again, what you might like to do is put a little box around those two amounts. And so I've got ordinary share dividends, 130,000 Rand. I've got my interim dividend of 60,000 Rand, which was paid usually about halfway through the financial year. And then I've got my final dividend, which was declared at the AGM. So if I add my 60,000 and my 70,000, I get my 130,000 Rand. And then obviously I would have my balance at the end of the year. So we are just inserting 3 new lines into the retained income note. Homework. Please, will you do the prescribed exercises, because you do need to practice it just to become totally au fait with it. And so for homework, I want you to learn how to deal with interim dividends and then final dividends, because we deal with them differently. The one we pay straight away, and the other one we create a current liability. And you need to know how to deal with both interim and final dividends in your financial statements. And then lastly, please have a look at your retained income note. So dividends, both interim and final, are shown in the retained income note. And I'll see you next time.